Hey everybody, welcome and thank you so much for being on. Welcome to our Sunday night Zoom story, inspiration, whatever you want to call it. It's just a great time and we share our healthy community. And I'm so glad that you are all here. So we're going to get right to it. First of all, I would like to introduce you to Liz, Lizzie, Elizabeth, depending on who's talking to her apparently. And Lizzie, would you share your story with us?
Okay, hi everyone. So my name's Lizzie, and I'm 18, and I started the program around Thanksgiving of 2014, and I was a senior in high school, and I was 260 plus pounds, 260 something, and I had really been overweight, and then eventually obese for a lot of my teenage years. As I was older, or as I, grew up, and it was just something that it was kind of the norm for me, to be honest, and although I hate that it was, that's kind of what it was, and so I was in the middle of my senior year, and I was, planning on going to college the next year, and I really, my family introduced the program to me, and I really just wanted to start my adult life, my real adult life as a totally, new person instead of the shy, overweight, unhealthy girl I had been a lot of my life, and so far. And so, basically, my family, a few of my family members had started the program, and I was very reluctant to start. I'm not even going to lie. It scared me a little, and I guess it was because you get so used to living this lifestyle, and any kind of change, depending on who you are, it's kind of scary, but I'm really glad I did it, and I have, like I said, a few family members that are a really big part of this team, and so it really helps having that support system. And so, like I said, I started, eventually I started about a week before Thanksgiving, on 2014, and I did really good. The first 6 months, I lost my first 60 pounds, so probably about 10 pounds a month, and it was just, I did really good, and it was really life changing because I graduated high school 60 pounds lighter than when I started. About 60 pounds lighter than when I started, and I just felt so much more confident in going to school. My grades improved because, I was just feeling better about myself all over, and it just makes you want to do better about everything in your life, not just your health, with everything. And so, and then I went into college being a lot more confident. And it really helped my self-esteem for one, and then, I got a big confidence because I felt, just so much more. I wasn't afraid of my body anymore. And I wasn't afraid that people were afraid of my body, and it gave me this confidence to go explore and talk to people and join, clubs and just interact with others. And it really just, I'm just so much more, open to talk to people and make friends. And that's just on top of, losing 60 pounds in such a short amount of time, compared to without the help and support of this program. And it just really has turned my life a whole 360 around, because I'm just and I think anyone that knows me personally could tell by just, pictures of me that I'm just much more happy and excited. And I realized how much health, is important to me, and how much it makes me want to help others too. So, that's basically my overround of, I'd go on for about 5 days on this for real, but that's basically the overrun of everything,
Well, thank you. I just finally figured out how to get your computer, your picture up on my computer so that everybody can see your before and your after. And I just love that. It's just one of the funnest things is to be able to watch you, because not everybody thinks they can do it as a teenager. Maybe. What do you think? What were your biggest concerns before you started?
I was my bigger concerns was more of like I wasn't really concerned about anyone else. I was just scared that I wouldn't do it right. Like I would not be successful because of my mentality. You know, not that this program isn't doable, because obviously it is. It was more of I was just reluctant to try it because I didn't want to change, because you just get, like I said, you just get so used to living this lifestyle, this unhealthy lifestyle, eating whatever you want. And it was just kind of scary to transition into that. But once I did, and like I said, that was like the only thing stopping me was just my mind.
Yeah.
My body can obviously endure anything it wants to, but it was more of like the mentality. You have to get in that mindset that I want to change and that I want to do what's best for me. And not only me, my whole family, because for me starting now, my sister wants to join the program too. And then, it's just a chain reaction. It will never stop.
Sure. You were kind of like in that uncomfortable comfort zone.
Yeah, that's how it was. I was, I was just not, and, eventually, I was like, I'm sick of feeling this way. And you have to take a leap of faith. Like, you just have to just try, if you don't try, you'll never succeed. So I tried it and I succeeded. And so that's how that happened.
So let me ask you this with you. So you said your sister really wants to do the program. Are you going to coach her?
Yes. Well, I've been helping her out the past few weeks anyway. She, I've been letting her, follow my habits, like, seeing how it would be for her and stuff. I'm not sure if I'll be a certified coach, but I'm definitely going to be here every single day helping her out, because we share a room together. We live together. So, we're going to be together almost all day and helping each other, which will help a lot. And I know that with me being with her would definitely help her, and then her with me, it would definitely help me a lot, because, the more people you have around you helping you, it just makes it so 10 times easier,
Right. You have a built-in support system when you do it with somebody together at the same time. Very cool. Very cool. Besides which, we always tell all our clients, they're going to be asking you the questions anyway. You could be making just a little bit of money for college. I'm just saying, Lizzie, if you helped her out. Something to think about.
Well, I have tons of people that that asked me when I was in high school and in college. Most college students haven't seen me when I was obese before, but because it's a whole new crowd. But a lot of people were asking me, what are you doing, and then all this other stuff. And I would totally explain to them, and I would usually refer them to my coach. But it probably would be a good idea to become a coach myself. I've considered it, so we'll see.
There you go. You should talk it over with them. They're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Okay, Lizzie, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Hang out. Okay, so now I'm going to have you talk to Craig and have Craig share his story. And Craig, do you have your pictures handy, or I can find them on my computer?
I guess I could.
No, it's okay. You go ahead and talk, and I'll find it. Let's do it.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Craig Chapman, and my wife and I, just to give you a little background, we were introduced by this program by my daughter. And my daughter's a CrossFit coach. And what had happened is my wife and I actually, we pretty much both of us kind of struggled with our weight for most of our life. But what happened was when we actually got pregnant with her 30 years ago, it just exponentially went to the point where we've been now married for, next month will be 37 years. And we became morbidly obese. And so when my daughter gave birth to our first grandchild 2.5 years ago, she basically told us, listen, you guys, if you don't do something, you're not going to see him grow up. And, at the time, I was literally struggling to put my socks on because my belly was so big. And I was having a more and more difficult time of actually, fitting into restaurant biz. But, like so many people, we've tried so many different programs. And, it was just a temporary behavior change, whether we're eating their food, and we didn't get taught anything, actually. And so she introduced me to my coach, Jamil, and we lost 170 pounds together in 7 months on this program.
Wow.
And it just blew us away. We were so excited. She started the program at 53. I started at 55. And if you would have told me that, somebody like myself at 55 would be able to lose, 100 pounds in 7 months, I wouldn't have believed it. I was just so excited. I mean, honestly, you can see the picture. It's our 25th and our 35th wedding anniversary, and we're 10 years older, but we look so much more healthy. And I was able actually to get off my high blood pressure and cholesterol medication as well because of my 100 pounds. Later on, finding out just really how many illnesses are due to obesity is just amazing. So what happened was for us, I found out that it was a business. And so in researching it, and now I've become a coach. I guess one of my really big reasons for becoming a coach is they had talked about how by becoming a coach, you have a 5 times greater chance of keeping your weight off. And so I certainly didn't want to ever get back to that picture that you can see on the screen ever again. And so we went ahead and I went down to San Diego to check it out. And I was listening to some doctors, and I was kind of just like, wow, here are these doctors, and, we all hold them in high esteem. These guys have put in tons and tons of time in college and whatnot, and they're more excited about their health coaching business than they were being physicians. And so I decided I would go ahead and I'd check it out further. And I actually went to a thing called National Convention in Tennessee the next month. I was not a coach, I was a client, but my background's in real estate. I own a real estate appraisal firm here in Southern California. And I thought to myself, if I were to look at a business, I would go ahead and have an attorney or a CPA look at, the business and give me counsel. So why not just go ahead and spend the money and go and check it out? And once I checked it out, it was it. I was in. And I just got really excited about it. And so we started growing our business, and it's just been a lot of fun. I can honestly tell you that if I wasn't a coach, I probably would have put some of my weight back on because I feel that pressure of being accountable to my clients and people that look up to me. And so there's definitely that accountability that I feel that as a coach, and not only that, but you learn so much more as a coach as well. And it's kind of cool. And what's really amazing, and I'm business minded, and I was thinking about this, is that I literally within like 4 months of doing this part-time was making, and you guys can all check and see how much money you're going to make with your Social Security. You can go onto Social Security and see how much you're going to get paid. I literally was making twice as much within just several months of doing this part-time than contributing 41 years to the Social Security system. That's amazing, guys. I mean, really, that's just blows me away. And for me at 57 now, I look and I read a lot of stuff about retirement, and, they all talk about how you're going to have to change your lifestyle. And I'm not going to have to change my lifestyle because of this business. And I just can't think of a better business to go ahead and help people get healthy and then be compensated for it as well. And Lizzie, if I knew what I know now at your age, I am telling you, girl, you need to become a health coach. It will change your life, dear, honestly. In fact, my daughter who referred me to the program, I got her to become a health coach. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Craig or for Lizzie while we're all here? And raise your hand if you do, and I can unmute you. Or beep at me or something.
Of the people that are here, can I see the raise of hands of who's a coach? Okay. All right. Yeah. So for those of you that aren't a coach, I would really recommend that you thoroughly check it out. Like I said, in the last 2 years, I've been able to keep the 100 pounds off. One of the biggest reasons I was able to keep it off is simply because I felt that I needed to be accountable. It's that little bit of accountability and pressure that's put on you, because I really believe that it's helped me keep it off. And when you're talking 100 pounds and you're talking about being able to get off of your prescription medications, that's huge. It's really huge. But it's a lot of fun too, because you meet really cool people. It's like Michael and Dennis. I met them and love those guys. You guys are awesome. I just get jealous because I see them with, going and traveling all over the world with some of our other coaches. So,
I don't know about you, but for me, when I started coaching, the main reason that I decided to do this was because I needed some weight loss insurance. Because like a lot of us, I've been there and done that several times on a bazillion different programs out there. And wouldn't we all agree that the programs work if you do them, but it's not just about eating the magic food. If you don't change the behavior, then, and we all know that, it's not like you can, it's not like it's not common sense. However, it's this whole being the part of the community that has been just an absolute a surprise and a blessing. And the main reason why I decided to coach myself, because I didn't want to be doing this again, like Craig, When you lose 50 pounds in 4.5 months, you'd rather keep it off, and we all are human, but this is a really great space to just be reminded, because of the community that we're in, because of the clients that we're helping all at the same time. So it's kind of a cool thing. All right, let's see. Thank you so much, Craig. Anybody have any other questions for Craig? Anything? Okay, hold on. Let me unmute you, Ann. Hang on. Okay, go ahead.
Hi. I have a new client who has tried many different diets, and he is about 70 pounds overweight. We've been talking for about 4 months, and he's been putting it off. And he actually ended up in the cardiac ER last week. And I think it scared him into doing something about it. His doctor told him his blood sugar was so high that he could go into diabetic coma and just die. So I guess my question is, for someone who's tried a lot of things and failed, that needs to lose a lot, and he has huge health issues. He's already diabetic and on insulin twice a day. What is the best encouragement I can give him? I'm talking to Craig now, or anybody who has a good.
So that's a very good question. So what I think is important is to start asking him some questions. Find out what his why is. There's a great video by a gentleman by the name of Craig Blanchett, and it's called Pain Pushes Until Desire Pulls. And I don't know if you've heard that talk or not, but that was so true for me, and that ultimately pain pushes you to do something. Okay. And then you lose some weight. I've tried every single program out there. I mean, literally every single national brand program I've tried. Back in the 90s, I did Fin, which probably hurt me. We tried everything. My biggest why, what pushed me forward, was I felt that I needed to be healthy for my grandson. So I think really what you need to do is you need to really find out from him what his why is, and really bring that to his attention again and again and again.
What was that video? Is pain pushes until what?
Until desire pulls. Pain pushes until desire pulls. And that really means what happens, and I looked at this in my own life, is because I've done different stuff where I lose 20, 30, 40 pounds, and you get out of the pain, you start to feel good about yourself. And so what happens is you kind of get sidetracked, and you don't have that, if it was just a number on the scale, or I just wanted to fit into something, that's not enough. So you really have to have a desire to pull you all the way through, okay? And so you really need to find out what his is and then just make him aware of it, you know.
Okay. He has already expressed concerns about, because he's an emotional eater. And I know this is in the book.
We've got an unstable internet connection here, Annie. See if we can hang on.
Yeah, you're frozen.
So, Craig, why don't you talk about emotional eaters? Because that's what I think where we were getting with that.
Yeah, so the thing is this is, well, I'll tell you the benefit of this program, and as for me was it allowed me, I'm not an emotional eater, I'm a boredom eater. But one of the things that I found out is that no matter what, if you lose the 100 pounds, you're still the same person, you still have the same triggers. I'll give you an example. Is I have a sweet tooth. And I love liqueurs, you know, Frangelico, Grand Marnier, that type of stuff. And so when my wife and I would be watching the television and we'd be watching an actor or an actress pour themselves a glass of wine or scotch or whatever it is, it triggered me, and I would literally be in the kitchen pouring myself a couple hundred calories of pure sugar, being morbidly obese, you know, being in the 300 plus club, and drinking this, you know, at 9, 10 o'clock at night. So now forward 2 years later, I lost my 100 pounds. But the thing is this, guys, is I see the actor or actress doing that, and it still triggers me. I still have that desire. The difference is what this program has done for us. It's made me mindful of what my triggers are. And now my response to my triggers are different. And so that's the key here. Really, that's where this program differs than absolutely any other program is, yes, there's other programs out there that you can buy their food and eat their food, and then what happens? Well, when you stop eating their food, you're now changing your behavior back to the old way because you weren't taught anything. And boom, guess what happens? You gain your weight back. Mm-hmm. This program is amazing. And that's why I'm so passionate about paying it forward. That's why I'm so passionate about those of you that aren't a health coach. You really need to be a health coach, because what if you were my friend and I was just watching you and I didn't ask and you didn't share? I'd be that 300-pound, 57-year-old man on high blood pressure and cholesterol medications right now, okay? And that's why I just think that everybody that gets involved in this, that really sees the picture and gets it, they need to be a health coach, and not just, you know, for the money thing, but really just to help people. That's really the passion, guys, is to help people. And that's what I'm most excited about now is just, give you a couple examples. You know, help people get off of high blood pressure and cholesterol medications. I had this one guy, Paul. I put him on the program. He was a big guy, about 6'6". Literally in 2 months, he lost a little over 50 pounds, okay, in a couple months. And he was on a CPAP machine. You know, he has sleep apnea. He had been living in another bedroom from his wife for a few years. Within 2.5 months, he really basically got off his CPAP machine and moved back into the master bedroom. I mean, how awesome is that? You know, I mean, we're talking about helping people change their lifestyle and educating them along the way. I can't think of another better business opportunity than that. And one other thing I'll mention as well, which when I was in San Diego for this first training, and they asked the crowd, is there any questions? And I had some exposure to this type of business before, and I raised my hand and I said, "Hey, is this business inheritable?" And they said, "Yes, it is." And that's exactly why I flew the following month to Tennessee to thoroughly check it out, guys, because I thought to myself, you know, I've had some success in the real estate industry. It's nothing that my children can duplicate, okay? But this is, I can build something, and the things that I'm doing and putting in place right now in 2014, 2015, 2016, I literally can go ahead and be compensated well beyond my life and on. How awesome is that? And so, again, I would just encourage you to get together with, your coach and say, hey, you know what? Give me some information. Let me check it out. Yeah, I met this, ex-fat bald guy on a video conference, and you know what? Guy kind of made a little bit of sense, but I'm not sure. He's from Southern California. We got to watch out for those kind of guys.
I love what you said, Craig, about making sure that we open our mouths, because there are people who are just watching and not asking because they're afraid.
Absolutely.
Because it is scary. It's the uncomfortable comfort zone, and this. My own mom watched and wouldn't do anything. It took her 4.5 years to become a client. And when she finally did, she said, I had just given up hope. I was always going to be fat. And now she's lost over 40 pounds, and she feels better at 75 than she did at 65. So. Yeah. That's what it's about, guys. That's what it's about for sure. Okay, before our time is up, really quick, let's go over the weekly habit of health is all about activity. So let's see. I'm going to call on Becky because I can see you right there. I'm going to unmute you. What is your favorite activity or your tip to everybody else who's listening?
Well, my favorite activity is walking outside because I love to be outdoors, and I'm not a gym person, so I'm not really excited about going and walking on a treadmill in a room. And so that's my favorite activity. But you can do walking just in little things all during the day. So I park farther away from the store when I get to the parking lot because I don't need to be right up close. And so, all those little things add up. I take the stairs. I don't go on the elevator. I don't know. I walk and go to the park with my grandkids, and I chase them around a little bit and, park farther away. And we take walks with them in the afternoon just to get outside and get some activity. So, you don't have to go to the gym and work out like a crazy person and do that kind of thing. I like to incorporate walking into my day.
I like that. I noticed that we are new to the dog owning situation again, and it's funny how when you're more mindful of what you're doing, you see things around you differently. And so we took the puppies to the dog park, and I was fascinated by the number of people that open the gate, let the dog out, and sit themselves down on a bench. I'm like, run around with your dog already. Play with them. They're not just there to get into a dog fight, people, but it was amazing to watch all of that and to see how, that was kind of something that had changed for me. So it was cool. Anyway, if you want to learn more about your activity, we are in chapters 15 and 16 of Dr. A's Habits of Health. And you can also do a little workbook. So in the Living a Longer and Healthier Life, it's lessons 11 and 12. And that's really where you're going to kind of personalize and figure out why we do what we do, how we got where we did, and how to maybe start fixing it and doing things like that. So I would highly encourage you not just to eat the magic food, although it will work. If we don't change, like Craig said, all these habits, then that's what's going to happen. We will end up inevitably with at least a few extra pounds back on. And so let's try and make sure that we change our habits and do all that. So with that said, thanks everybody for being here and for a great chat. And I will get this all recorded and up so that everybody can watch it later. So have a great week.